All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Drumbridge Farms. It is the beginning of October, and we've got some good news and we've got some bad news. So we'll start with the bad news first. If we pop in here, we got the workshop behind this garage door, and you can see that our main workhorse of the farm, the John Deere, is currently out of commission. So since the last episode, we were doing some contract work for some of the neighboring farmers, Mason and Liam, and even Ben that we bought that our most recent field from. You know, he was asking us for some help, and so we were doing a little bit of cultivating for them yesterday. And yeah, the John Deere, the engine, you know, we started getting a pretty bad noise coming from the engine. I think it's probably just like the fan belt. Shouldn't be too bad of a fix, but the hours are starting to rack up on this, so it's important to make sure that we do whatever necessary repairs we got to do to keep it in working order. So we're going to take this out of commission for today. Dad's going to be taking a look at that while we tend to some of the other work on the farm. And so that brings us to the good news. And let me actually close this garage door real quick. I popped that open earlier and forgot to close that. So we'll let Dad get to work here, and I'll show you guys kind of what else we've been up to since the last episode. All right, so coming back over here to the main farm, you could see that we actually got done with some of the mowing on the big field. So we have some silage bales that I've stacked off to the side. There are some, you can see them just over there past that hedge. One of them's a little bit more blue than the green regular hedge over there. And so that's another row of these silage bales. And there's a couple more scattered around the edges of the field. I just wanted to get the grass off the field. It wasn't at its prime mowing length yet, but I figured, you know, I wanted to get this field cleaned up before October rolled around, because we have to get this planted pretty much today. The weather is supposed to be good today. I think tomorrow and the next day there's some rain in the forecast. So I do want to get the crops in the ground today, which means we have to cultivate this, get it prepped, meaning that we're actually probably going to do some lime. Going to get some lime on this field as well. Get our wheat in the ground, and we'll see if we can do all that today. That is a super ambitious task, but we're gonna give it a shot. And if not, I mean, if we do have to go, you know, maybe do a little bit of planting tomorrow, we'll keep an eye on the rain, make sure it's not too heavy. But we do have to get the wheat in the ground over the next couple days, or else we're gonna miss our planting window. And so we're gonna jump into the Fendt real quick, hook it up to our cultivator, and we'll get this field tilled. And then looking across the street here, we're also going to do the same thing to our oat field. So the fortunate thing about planting the oats this year is that we were able to get these harvested in the last episode, and now we can actually get 2 crop cycles out of it. So just peeking over the fence here, you can see we got some weeds growing in there. So this field's been sitting dormant for a couple of months, so we're going to go ahead and cultivate that as well, and we'll give this the same treatment. The ground should be a little bit more prepped in terms of nutrients than our grass field. We actually just got some lime down on there, so that shouldn't be too bad. We'll have to check the nitrogen content though, make sure that we got, you know, if we needed to get some fertilizer down before we get this planted, or when we get this planted. But that's all to come. Right now we're going to go ahead and start with some cultivating. All right, well, we're getting the tractor started here. I just wanted to show you guys the current situation of our or the current state of our bank account. Not looking too bad, if I say so myself. $145,000 in the bank. We made quite a bit of money from our contract work. It does help having a combine. We're able to do, after we harvested our oats, we were able to help out some of the farmers with some sorghum harvesting as well. So lots of money in the bank. Saving up for I think what's going to be another field purchase. I'll think about, or I might even upgrade our seeder. That might come before a purchase of another field. We're going to use this small seeder to get the wheat in the ground on both of these fields today, but you know, it does take a long time, so that is kind of the next piece of equipment that I want to try to upgrade. So actually, we're going to go ahead and knock out the small field first before we get into the grass field. This shouldn't take us any time at all. And then, yeah, once we get done with, you know, getting that seeder upgraded, I do want to start looking into another crop field. The one directly north of us, and I'll go ahead and get some lights on here, so since it's still a little bit dark, but the one directly north of our big field, just kind of down the road there on the right, that one I think is kind of the next one that I want to purchase. It seems pretty affordable. It's a little bit cheaper than the grass field just to the left of our across, you know, over there. There's a big field over there that I want to purchase eventually as well, but that one might have to wait. It's pretty expensive, so I'll see what happens with that. But yeah, other than that, you know, we're just kind of gonna get through this planting season, try to get all the crops on the ground, and we'll focus on, you know, getting the silage sold in the winter, see what money we got from that, and then we'll focus on, you know, upgrading our equipment in the winter, you know, kind of in the off season once we get done with all of the work. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and jump in here, get this field cultivated, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. All right, yeah, I know what you guys are thinking. Oh man, you should have done the headlands first. Or, you should have done the headlands last. Yeah, you're totally right. I should have. And obviously I did not, so I forgot. But yeah, usually I think it's kind of best practice to, when you're cultivating at least, to kind of do the inside of the field first, and then you go back to the headlands, because when you turn around, you leave all of these ruts in the ground on your freshly cultivated field. So live and learn. I always forget that. I just, like, for some reason, like, force a habit. You know, I always do it this way, or I've always done it this way, and then kind of learn, like, this isn't the best way to do it. So what is it? Old habits die hard. Is that what the saying is? But yeah, it's fine. I'm not super worried though, because the seeder that we have still has a like a little power harrow on it, so it'll kind of kick up that soil, you know, before it puts the seeds in the ground, so it'll kind of get, you know, loosen it up where we've driven over it. So I'm not too worried about it right now, and this field's, you know, so small anyway. We're just gonna leave it. It'll be fine. I know we just got tons of ruts in the field now, but whatever. Could be worse. Yeah, so that's it for this field. We're gonna go ahead now and fold this up. And we're gonna go and head over to our biggest field, and we're gonna go and get that cultivated as well. And so the cool thing about that one though, is that it's got the grass in it. So I am thinking that we're gonna get a little bit of a nutrient boost because of that. You know, it'll add some cultivating the grass and kind of getting it down into the soil should ideally give us a little bit of extra nutrients in the ground. So I'm gonna go ahead and check that out. All right, and here we are at our grass field, and I will say the one thing that is not the greatest about this tractor is that it's a little bit dated, and as you could tell from here within the cab, we don't have GPS, so we're just going to be doing this the old-fashioned way for this field. It's a big field, but you know, I think it'll be fine. We're going to get it done. I'm just going to try to kind of find a line here, and you know, it's not going to be the cleanest, but that's what we get for having to take our John Deere out of service. You know, we got to work with what we can. So I am not super concerned. I think we're going to be okay. We're just going to have to kind of eyeball it and, you know, try to keep our lines as straight as we can. It is going to be a little bit tough with planting, though. I'm hoping that my dad's able to sort everything out with the John Deere by the afternoon. If it is, you know, if it is in fact just like the fan belt going, he might be able to replace that pretty quickly. And we can get that thing up and running, you know, to run the seeder for us, and then we can, you know, do some of the grass work, the remaining grass work with this tractor, because I do not want to plant an entire field with, at least this field, with this tractor, with the seeder that we have. That thing is tiny, and it's going to be really easy to get out of line. So yeah, I'm leaving a little bit of room for a headland, as you could tell. So we got a little bit of room to turn around. We'll clean up the headlands, you know, a little bit later, but for now we're just going to kind of go around here and just leave ourselves a little bit of space to work with. And hopefully this should be okay. But yeah, we'll get up to speed here, bring this on into cruise control, and let's go ahead and get this field cultivated. It's going to take quite a bit, so I will talk to you guys once we are finished. All right, we just got done with the last main pass of the field. Now we're going to go ahead and just clean up these headlands a little bit. We'll do probably 2 passes around the edges here to get this all cleaned up and ready to go. And it kind of dawned on me that I forgot that I have to lime this field. So it's going to be a really busy day on the farm, because I really want to try to get all of the crops in the ground today. It's already 1 o'clock, and with that little 3-meter seeder that we have, it's just gonna be rough. It's gonna be a rough day to try to get everything in the ground, but we're gonna try our best. You know, we're gonna try our best. We're gonna work with what we got. We really only have 2 fields, and one of them is like 5 acres or 9 acres or whatever it is, compared to this one that's like 20. So it's like, you know, I think we could do it. It's gonna be tough, but I just couldn't help but admire the again, just this beautiful scenery of this part of the world. I mean, I am loving being around here. I think that, you know, it's fall, the leaves are changing. It's just a beautiful time to be out on the farm doing one of my favorite jobs. There's something so satisfying about just prepping the fields, you know, working the land, just getting the ground ready for the next, you know, planting season. It's so refreshing, especially with this. I mean, I'm really curious how the soil health is going to be now that we've got the grass in the field. But yeah, we do have to get some lime in the field as well. So with that being said, I think what we're going to do is we're going to finish up this field with get these next couple of headlands cultivated, and then we're just going to go head over to the dealer. And I know they typically have a spreader that we can borrow, and we're going to opt for one of the bigger ones this time, as opposed to that tiny one that we used on the field, you know, a couple episodes ago. So we're going to grab one of those like big braid all ones or whatever. We'll probably fill it up there. I know we have some lime in the barn here to our left from the last time we limed that small field, but I think my issue is since we're only down to 1 tractor, we don't really have, you know, a way to run a trailer, and so I don't want to be swapping trailers. You know, I need a flatbed to bring the flatbed bale trailer to bring the lime over here, and I don't have a second tractor to do that right now. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to buy some more bags. We have a lot of money in the bank. Oh, I forgot I got to get this. Let me go ahead and just jump over here, grab this patch of grass that I missed on accident. But yeah, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna drive over there. We're gonna get the spreader, and we're just gonna fill it up there. We're gonna buy some more bags. It's at the store. You know, they got that front loader there that they can use to help us load that up. I don't really think it's gonna be an issue. We just gotta do that rather than trying to run, you know, swap trailers and run back and forth a bunch of times. It just makes more sense to do it there. We'll save the lime here for next time. I mean, who knows? Maybe eventually I'll even end up buying one of those spreaders if it becomes that, you know, if we get a lot of fields where we're going to be doing a lot of liming at once, it might just make sense to buy one of them. But for now, you know, we only got, like I said, we only got our 2 fields, so it's not that big of an issue. And I should check the soil to make sure we even need lime. So once we get done with these headlands, we're going to do a little status update on the soil, kind of see what it's looking like, you know, what kind of nutrients we're going to need, just so we can plan accordingly. I was really surprised. I gotta admit that the soil from our oats harvest was really healthy, and after we took care of the lime and the fertilizer, we didn't actually have to go back into the field and fertilize again. I know that all crops are probably a little bit different, so we're gonna have to see how the wheat does when we get it in the ground. But ideally, I mean, if we only have to fertilize one time, that is gonna be awesome, because we don't really have a tractor that's capable of getting into the field without damaging the crops. And, you know, I just because I don't want to, realistically I could get a set of narrow tires for, you know, some of these other tractors, but that's kind of a lot of work. I think in the future what I'm going to do is I'm going to look into grabbing a like a small tractor. So we'll take a poll on that soon. You know, I'll think about maybe some options and kind of look into what's you know, the dealer can get for us, and we'll figure that out a little bit later. But for now, you know, we're just gonna kind of roll with what we got. And if we only get 1 coat of fertilizer down, I mean, one's better than nothing. But I do want to get the herbicide down again like I did last time. So that's all today. We got to get field limed, the seeds planted, fertilizer, and herbicide down. The one thing though, and I know I'm talking a lot and I'm sorry, but just a lot going on here today. The one thing though is that since we only have 1 tractor, you know, my dad and I can work in shifts, and I almost forgot to say that he did get in contact with the dealer, and they're not able to. They actually don't have the parts in stock that we need. You know, we got to get one of those fan belts, and they're just not one in stock at the moment. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and loop back around and clean up this corner here real quick before I finish up this headland. But yeah, we don't have the right part at the moment. So that tractor, the John Deere, is sadly going to be out of commission for the rest of the day, which kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really not too happy about that, but you know, it is what it is. I mean, we're gonna work with what we got. At the end of the day, you know, we're just gonna be working in shifts is really what's gonna be happening here. So I'll finish this up, and then, you know, if it gets a little bit later, you know, my dad can jump in and kind of do some of the you know, either the planting or the fertilizing or whatever we need to get done. We can get it done, but we'll work it out. After this, we got to focus on grass work, so that's in the next couple episodes to come, or maybe I don't even know if I'll do it on camera, but we got to get the rest of our silage cut for the year. Even though we don't need it, we don't have any animals to feed or anything, it is worth some money. And so for me, given that we're trying to, you know, kind of just make as much cash as possible to buy back some fields, silage is a great money maker for us, and we got plenty of grass fields that we could you know, use for that. So anyway, I'll wrap up this headland, and then we'll check on a couple things on the field soil health, and then we will get the lime ready to go. All right, and that's that field done. Let's go ahead and hop out here real quick and check on our silage bale. So you can see we got 70% fermented already. Wow, I feel like we just cut these. I guess it has been, well, and I think it's only been like When did we do it? September? Maybe it was August. Maybe it has been 2 months. So yeah, we got 70% fermentation, so we can sell these probably, you know, maybe end of next month, ideally. And yeah, you could tell we do need some lime. Lime is looking absolutely awful. Nitrogen, we just don't really know yet. We just don't really know until we get the crops in the ground what kind of level we're gonna need. Just kind of checking it out. It says it's about 25, so it's not great. It's actually not as good as I thought it would be, to be honest with you. So we're gonna need to probably get some fertilizer, definitely 1 coat of fertilizer down once we plant our wheat, and then, you know, we'll see what happens if we need another coat later on or whatever. So no worries, we'll make it happen. I'm not super worried about it. I think we will be fine. So let's go jump back in the tractor. We'll disconnect this cultivator and we'll go ahead to the dealer and pick up our lime spreader that we need for the rest of the day. All right, just stopped at the dealer. Got ourselves loaded up here with 11,000 liters of lime. We got one of these Braidall spreaders. It has the small extension on it, so we were able to get 11,000 liters instead of the standard 9,000 liters, which I think when you're lime spreading is worth it. You know, lime's pretty cheap, but you go through it pretty quick compared to fertilizer, so it's good to have, especially since we're gonna be, you know, going to and from the dealer to get our refills. It just kind of makes sense that we've got that extra capacity. So actually we could maybe, you know, use the lime in our barn now that we got the spreader here. That would make sense. But then we'll probably end up going back there for a refill or two anyway, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, it is a shame that the John Deere is out of commission today. It would have been nice to have 2 tractors running, especially given that it's already about 3 o'clock and we haven't even gotten seeds in the ground yet. So priorities, yeah, we're gonna need to really get working here. But you know, at the end of the day, fertilizing and getting the herbicide in doesn't take too long. We can even maybe wait until tomorrow to do that, to be honest. We can just do it like first thing in the morning. I don't think that should be that bad of an issue. But oh, we have this other field too. Almost forgot. Well, we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see what we get done today, I guess. If the other field has to wait till tomorrow, it can wait till tomorrow. But I do want to get the big field planted today because it is supposed to maybe rain at some point tomorrow, and the small field will be quick. This one will not be. So we're gonna see what happens. But anyway, let's go and get some lime down. See how good we can get this. I'm curious to how fast it's gonna actually start to you know, get depleted. So let's get started. Well then, we're gonna be going through a lot of lime, so we're gonna go head back to the dealer again and get this filled up. Got 1 headland pass done, and that was it. So we'll probably do, we'll just start going up and down. Now I'm not too worried about it. I think, you know, a headland in this field is actually quite a bit when you really think about it, so I'm not super worried. But it is gonna be a lot of lime that is gonna need to go in this field. So let's go ahead and just get to work. We gotta get this done. We got a long night ahead of us. I'm guessing by the time we actually start planting the seeds, so at least a long evening. So let's go ahead and do what we can in the with the daylight that we have left. All right, we just got done getting all of our lime down on the field, and that took quite a bit, to be honest. It is 8:30, and it costs us about 20 grand in lime, which I gotta be honest, I did not expect. But I'm glad that we did it though. It's gonna be really beneficial to our yield this upcoming harvest season. And speaking of the rest of what we're gonna do for planting, I think we're just gonna call it a night for right now and then come back in the morning and get done with with some of the other, or actually get started with the seeding, because it's already 8:30. It's getting pretty dark. We will go ahead and get the seeder loaded up after we return this this lime spreader. We'll get this lime emptied out, keep it in the barn for future use, and then we'll get this spreader back to the dealer so that we don't have to pay any more leasing costs on it. And we'll go ahead and just fill up the seeder, head to bed, and we'll get started planting in the morning, because I did check the weather again, and it's actually not supposed to rain tomorrow. It's supposed to maybe rain the third day in October. So I think we'll be good to go. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this emptied out, and then I will see you guys in the morning. All right, and good morning. It is bright and early here, back on the farm, and we are going to get into the tractor and just get a head start on the day here. We went to bed, a little bit early last night, got back, got the seeder loaded up. It was about 9:30, and just, went back home and got to sleep because we knew we had a busy day coming up today. So let's go ahead and head over to the small field. I'm actually going to do that one myself, and then I might have my dad kind of do the other one while we, handle some other stuff kind of around the farm. Since, there's no work being done on the tractor, we're on the John Deere, we're still waiting for that part to come in, so that's going to be out of commission probably for the rest of the month, sadly. But yeah, we got some fields planned, we got some silage work to get done, still have a lot to do, so it's going to be a pretty busy next couple of days, and really unfortunate that we only have one tractor, but sometimes it is what it is. I'd rather, get ahead on the repairs now than have something worse happen later, and then it'd be, out of commission for a very, very long time. So we'll get that figured out. But for now, let's go ahead and just jump into probably a couple of time lapses, and we'll get these fields planted and see what we're going to do next. We'll see if we have time to fertilize and stuff today. I would like to get at least one coat of fertilizer down, but again, we shall see what happens. Let's see if we can fit even through this gate. Might be able to fit through this if we're very, very careful. Try that one more time here. Yeah, I think we're good. Look at that. Very close. But anyway, talk to you guys soon. Alright, so while my dad was getting the seeds in the ground, I ran to the store and grabbed a few more of these real nifty small bags of seeds. We have a couple of big bags sitting in the barn, but with the John Deere out of commission, we don't really have a front loader right now that we could use. So I figured I might as well grab a few more of these. We could just, pick these up and dump them right into the seeder, get this all loaded up. So we're going to go ahead and do that now, so that he can wrap up this field. But yeah, it's not too late in the day, so he'll finish this up, and then we can move on with the rest of our work that we got to get done. So let's go ahead and just get this filled up. All right, and there we go. He is on his way again. We're just gonna go and head back to the yard, and I think with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and call it an episode. We still have a lot of work to do, such as spraying and getting the rest of the silage cut in the next day or so, but I'll let them loop around here real quick. But then, yeah, I think once, we'll save that for another episode because this has been quite a long one. We've got a lot done. It turned out to be a very not the type of day that I planned with the tractor out of commission. It's been a little bit tough, but we'll figure it out. Hopefully that part will be coming in soon, so we'll be able to get that new fan belt in, and we'll get that up and running pretty soon. But yeah, in the meantime, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying the series. I'm enjoying making it. It's really fun to be on this farm. I love this part of the world. It's such a beautiful environment to be in, and so far so good. Things have been going pretty well. You know, we still have a lot of equipment that we need to get. We still have to, you know, think about some future investments, especially with our fields, but that'll all come in due time. So hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you all in the next episode. Peace out.